That's right.
Dicks. Welcome. Today, a wild fifn has appeared. Level 3. Fifn, say hello.
Hello, I am more than level 3.
Oh,
Uh,
he's lying. He's
I'm not
fucking lying.
lying.
Citation needed.
Yeah, I don't believe you. So, today we're joined by Feminism is for Nobody, and we're going to be talking shit and the regular shtick. We're going to be doing absolutely nothing in particular with no particular goal, and that's the goal of the show. So, Feminism is for Nobody. We want to know about what kind of videos you make and what got you into making YouTube.
Well, I make videos that they're mainly response videos, but I sometimes just do random shit, and it's mainly just making fun of feminists. I just uploaded a video about Angry Aussie, our favorite Australian, that cunt.
Okay.
Apart from Bane. Bane's great. Um, Yeah, and what got me into YouTube? Watching people like Sargon and thinking, oh, I could do that. I can't do that, to be honest, but I can try. That's what I'm doing.
Okay, cool. So it's sort of like because like our group came together because we were all fans of different people here on YouTube, and we all kind of sit around and we often have the thought of oh well fuck, I if I was in this conversation right now I would have so much to say, kind of a thing because we listen to a lot of hangouts and stuff, right? And so that's kind of where we came from, with the idea of wanting to not necessarily do what other people do, but at least have our voices heard. And so that sounds like something you're doing, which is cool. Like everybody has to get out there and say something. And I think it's really interesting, especially how considering how young you are, that you're actually getting out there and doing shit. You know?
Yeah. Uh, I try to because you mentioned my age, I do try to get as few people that live near me to know what I do because
Mm,
if they sent it to my school, I don't think they'd be happy, to be honest. They wouldn't if they looked at my Lacey Green video. She pissed me off so much. Just saying that you're not people who try to censor comedy piss me off a lot. So it caused rape jokes. That's what happened.
oh
Uh,
no. Oh
I know
no.
it was problematic as fuck. I'm telling you. And
Yeah, I guarantee if that was something like that was exposed at my school, even if the school knew that I was doing this necessarily, I would be in some deep shit. And if I had done shit like that when I was in high school, holy fuck, I would
yeah,
probably not be here today.
I Yeah, a couple people in my school know because one of my friends started making fun of SJWs with me.
Hmm.
So, I thought he might like it, and he does. He watches my videos now. And another guy saw me. I was on YouTube in school, and I forgot that my name shows up while browsing YouTube. So he knows my channel, but he happens to like it as well. So I've got lucky so far, but there are insane social justice warriors at my school. If
Oh,
they
of
found
course.
out, I would be fucked to fuck. Like,
Did
think of somebody who's fucked, like
yeah.
Hitler, and I'd be more fucked.
Did you have a what's it called? A diversity officer for Halloween costumes for Halloween?
No, no, we didn't. But we came in. I didn't, but some people dressed up, and one of my friends, who is like 6'6", so he's pretty scary. But he got told to take off his mask because it could scare people. A thing, a whole around the school. Only sixth formers dressed up. They all had to take off their masks in case it scared younger children. It's like
Yeah.
that's the point of Halloween, you fucking morons.
Oh,
But
I go to a college and we weren't
oh,
allowed to wear masks.
oh
Banned.
really?
Completely banned.
I think I think that may be more because of an identification issue, though. Or was
And
it only on
everybody
Halloween?
needs to stop talking about how much they love the taste of me, please.
I love the taste of you.
Don't worry, I will never taste you, so you're
I've
good.
I've
Actually,
tasted him several times.
there's a way better porter than Guinness made in my state, and I just had it yesterday.
All
So,
right, let's not get talking about alcohol. This fuck
and,
can't even
and,
drink.
and I'm
Wait, wait,
Irish,
wait,
so I
why
can have that
not? Why
opinion.
not? Alcohol's the best.
would
Drinking
call
is
it.
bad, guys. Stop it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Guinness is a wuss. He doesn't drink.
Bah, I might as well have a side of right
Oh,
now.
am I a
See,
wuss? I don't drink.
Guinness has so much estrogen. He's almost a woman, so he has a
Hey,
lower alcohol
it's only
tolerance
like
compared to us normal
90%.
men.
It's only
It's
like 90%. Okay.
200%.
Mm.
Who the
Anyway,
fuck
Anyway,
cares?
so
What's the topic? Who is here? We're live. What the fuck?
yeah, so the backup. We were talking about how you say you had to take them off because you were scaring. I mean, because they were scary to younger kids.
Wait, who's that talking there?
that would be
Me.
Aloe.
That'll
Oh.
be me.
Fuck me, just then you sounded a lot like that guy T, and he's in the chat, so I was very fucking confused. Anyway,
Oh, cool. I can impersonate someone, but go on. Who said it? Like I think it was Omega that said yeah, they had to take it off because they were scaring little younger kids.
oh yeah, some kids had like phobias and stuff. I don't know, but I can.
I
Because
can kind of see a
I
school
can
doing that.
kind of see, because if it was just on the streets, then that would be fucking retarded because they don't have to be on the streets. But they do have to be in school. And if they do have that sort of thing, then I can kind of see, but I can kind of also see that they're oversensitive pussies and they should grow the fuck up.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think it was more of a protection. I can give a story, I guess, about how that may go bad.
Go for it.
This was a Halloween. I think it was like in elementary school when this happened. But there was one kid. He had a wolf costume, and he was around the corner, and he jumped out and roared at me and scared the crap out of me, and I ran into the wall. And then I cried for the rest of the day. So I got hurt through Halloween pranks.
But do you think that him not wearing a mask, had he been something just as frightening, that he wouldn't have scared you?
Well, he didn't really look that ugly, but who knows?
Can't know though. Can't know,
Well,
Aloe.
I'm just saying it may be a protection thing. It just may be looking out for kids' safety.
Yeah, you devil's advocate. Shut the fuck up. No, but seriously, yeah, I mean, you might have a point. I don't necessarily think so. I think that most kids need to just probably toughen up. But what do you think, Fifn?
people need to toughen the fuck up. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think in general, in the world, people need to toughen the fuck up. Hashtag trigger warnings on campus. Do you have that where you go to a college, don't you? Do you have trigger warnings everywhere?
We
Or
don't
they-
have the word trigger warnings, but we essentially have trigger warnings.
Beautiful.
Yeah, luckily my campus isn't like that.
Someone tried to push that in my college, and the student council was like, "No."
Wow, you're lucky.
Actually,
Yeah,
I
we
think
got
I
big
get
brass
that.
balls around her.
Yeah, we're from the South. We don't tolerate that.
Wow.
I think I could guess what the intention between what trigger warning is basically just like if before a movie, contains sensual, explicit content and not for everybody. But I don't know how it apply in real life.
What do you mean?
There's a difference between watching a movie and being in real life and having a trigger warning thrown at somebody.
Yeah,
I mean, I can understand if you're disgusted by blood, so you don't want to watch a gory movie or something.
Yeah, but I think that's where the word trigger warning originally meant, and where it's been saturated, right? That was what a trigger warning was. Oh, here's some content that's probably going to make you sick. Here's some content that you might not like actually physically be able to tolerate. Not here's some content that might make you a little bit upset.
Well, I mean, okay, hey, Guinness, you ever see this thing called this feminist art thing? I think you were one of the people who showed it to me and sort of blew my mind with that.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, I would want a trigger warning for that if it was like, we have an art show going on. I would go and say, okay, walk in, and then I would see that, and my heart would be destroyed. I would have liked a trigger warning.
Right, but I mean, honestly, like you can't have trigger warnings for, like you can't. I mean, you can, but you shouldn't. It's ridiculous. Like for example, this isn't trigger warning or so much as it is rhetoric and showing up in the classroom. Like there was my teacher brings up politics all the time and mentions how much she loves our new prime minister, and it's just like, keep that shit to yourself kind of a thing. And man, it's ridiculous. Do you guys Fifn, do you ever had a teacher mention any of the shit that you talk about when you've had to like sit there and be quiet about it?
Not where I've had to sit there and be quiet about it, but and never because she was told to by the curriculum, but in drama one time, I do drama. I used to do drama because I'm a big faggot. I don't know how it came up, but because there were SJWs in drama, as they all do.
Oh yes.
They tend to go towards that because they have no real talents and they go, oh, I could probably act.
I went to a drama school, dude. I went to a school full of SJWs.
Aren't all drama students gay?
Huh? Sorry, say again, Stephen?
Aren't all drama students gay?
All drama
At least it's the case here.
Anyway, in this drama, they started shouting about feminism or something, and I go, that's bollocks. And they started shouting about the wage gap first, and I said, no, and then they started screaming about how black people are paid less, how women are paid less, how Chinese people are. Oh no, Chinese people earn more actually, so they didn't shout about that. Oh, they probably did because they were no shit, but and they. Oh, and I couldn't speak because all they did is scream at me, and I was supposed to be rehearsing with my group. But all they said, oh, he wants women to be paid less, he wants women to be abused, blah, 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 shit like that. And afterwards, I was walking out, and I heard I heard them speak to Miss, because she's obviously a feminist, because she's a drama teacher. And I smile and walk over, and she goes, so do you think we live in an equal society then? And I go, oh yeah, well, no as in there isn't 50-50 everywhere, but I explained some reasons why that might be. Men have testosterone, so they make more risks, shit like that, so they get higher up and blah, blah, blah. And she was perfectly fucking reasonable. It was weird as fuck. She was like, yeah, I think that's a good point. Like, I could see the feminists around her being thinking that she was going to fucking scream at me or something. They looked a bit disappointed when she agreed with me. But she said, oh, I think there's some sexism involved as well. I was like, okay, I'll agree with you just to agree with you. So that's my only experience with a feminist teacher. So that was pretty. It was pretty normal, actually. The actual SJWs who are students, they're fucking insane. But the teacher was alright.
Well, that's interesting. I had a similar, not so bad experience, but I had a very Christian teacher, and she was surprisingly, and it's what gave me a lot of respect for, or gave me more respect for religious people. She was very impartial to most of the issues of social justice, for the most part. For the most part, she would let me flat out argue with the feminist in my classroom. And what's funny is the feminist in my classroom ended up developing a crush on me, even though she hated me. And it was kind of ironic, and I just ignored her. And it was pretty funny. But we were able to get into like really spirited debates in class, and it was in law class. And we would argue a lot of different things. And one of them was the wage gap, and we went into philosophy and stuff like that. And I actually had a relatively positive experience in the sense that she didn't try to censor me. She just had really stupid opinions.
So you had a soft feminist, because I can barely think of a feminist in my school that isn't gay or trans or a demi girl. One of them's a fucking demi girl.
Oh,
what the fuck is that supposed to be?
Right, so you're basically talking about these little Tumblrette feminists.
Yes, yeah. One of them.
Are you saying the lunatics are running your asylum?
Yes, they are. Hail Sargon. Every time I see the demigirl, she is on her Apple Mac on Tumblr. I want to fucking break it. One, because it's an Apple Mac, and two, because she's on Tumblr. Fuck's sake.
Wouldn't that be censorship, though?
I've met a fair few of these straight white knights. Let's just say they are ironically behaved.
I am in a I'm in sixth form now, so most of the cunts have left. But one of them used to be here, and he was actually my friend. But he actually fucking made the 10% of M&Ms are poison. Why don't you take a handful? And it's like, I wanted to punch him in the face, but I didn't. But I should have.
Can you explain to me why that thing? Because I've had someone say it to me, and I didn't want to argue with it because I'm like, well, I would stick my hand in it. So can you explain that to me?
They're pretty much saying that, women can't trust men, pretty much, because they're fucking psychos.
Well, don't trust anyone.
It's a justification.
Yeah,
For
justification
hatred.
fucking cunt.
So, moving on kind of a little bit, I'm curious to know, fifn, how long have you been, and I hate using this term, but I really don't know, I don't want to use, I can't think of a better one. Well, how long have you been red-pilled? How long have you been, were you ever a feminist, basically? Were you ever on the other side?
I don't know what I was. I think I thought that women definitely had it worse.
Right.
But I don't think I thought it was due to laws of the land, or even society as a whole. I don't think I was like half Kool-Aided. I was like, women have it worse, and if somebody asked me why, I'd be like, because reasons. I don't think, yeah, and I don't think I ever called myself a feminist. But looking back at the people I followed, I never saw shit that he said about feminism, weirdly. But like people like Tom Skye, I don't subscribe to him now, but I still like some of his stuff. Ray William Johnson's girlfriend, Anna, what's her face? I used to subscribe to her. Shane Dawson, shit like that.
Yeah.
So I think I was like a proto-feminist.
Okay.
If they had been like, no, because I don't think I was never dumb.
Were you Philip DeFranco?
I don't know who that is.
You didn't follow him? Oh, he was in that camp of popular YouTubers, and he's
Who the fuck subscribed to that fucker? Remember in the beginning of fucking YouTube, that guy was putting up like big tits and everything on on his thumbnails.
On his thumbnails, and then he fucking acts like a feminist.
No, that shit was the worst.
Yeah. Anyway.
Talk about clickbait.
Yeah. So
Actually, I was listening to the stream, earlier part of the stream, and you were saying that the teacher was more, I guess, rational than the students.
Yeah.
That was sort of interesting because a part of me thought that the teachers, the feminist professors, were responsible for a lot of this stuff, but maybe like the internet and Tumblr might be more responsible because if the students are more radical, then that would be.
I think what happens is that I think there are a couple crazy feminists in my school, but they generally don't talk about it. I mean, teacher-wise. There's one of them that I heard she was talking about how she doesn't want to get married because it means you're owned by a male or some shit. But yeah, I know. But they don't really seem to talk about it much. I think what happening now is they get indoctrinated on Tumblr and sometimes occasionally talk to the teachers in primary school. No, not primary, secondary school, and like get some confirmation bias. And then when they move to university, that's when they get fucking even more insane. Like right now they don't scream about it that much.
They haven't got a whole class to justify and what's another word? To justify and make what they're thinking relevant, and to make them to make it correct for them. It doesn't. There's nothing there to be like, oh well, this is proof that your retarded thoughts are totally correct. But it's like, there was a feminist in my school the other day who mentioned one of my teachers was saying he she instead of they. And the student spoke out and said, I don't think you should say he, she, because they is more appropriate since we don't know how people identify. And here at the school we had the gender studies program. So implying that means that it must be true, therefore. And everything in it is factual and correct.
They were saying he, she based on the assumption that they were not transgender.
Yes, like like when referring to like a person in a scenario, she would say he, she, and then she kept correcting herself into they, and a student spoke up like, yeah, I think we should say they. They is better.
It was a hypothetical scenario, and they're trying to misgender.
Yeah.
Well, if they're going to make up a scenario, why don't they just assign a gender to the hypothetical person?
Exactly.
It's not like that hypothetical person has any conscience of their own.
Yep.
Yeah, I was doing an exam, guys, and the person in the hypothetical situation was a guy, and it was just so triggering. I was like, James had 40 apples, and I was like, why is he called James? Why is he a he? He could be a demisexual, queer, gender-fluid dragon. Yeah, I get triggered so much.
So I guess from now on the test is going to be like James, who identifies as a he. That's 5 apples.
What
Oh,
you
I'm
should
not kidding,
really
I
be
hate that
asking
one.
yourself is how many women he had to oppress to get those 40 apples.
3.14.
Yeah.
3.14.
Well, you can also ask, before we proceed with this hypothetical situation, I need to know the color of his shoes.
Yes, please.
Pink.
I would also like to know exactly what is on his genitals.
I think it's
Everything.
kind of
He has
depressing that we don't
freeballs.
have this man's backstory. All we have is that we know that he possesses apples. We know nothing about him.
Yeah, this is fucking racist, honestly.
My further maths exam, the questions are already long as fuck. They're just gonna have to make them twice as long to explain the backstory of every single person. I'm gonna be fucked. Just spend half the time reading it.
Honestly, that could actually end up working out really, really well, because they could get rid of all the really shitty and poorly phrased questions that they do for those word problems, and then they could just have people actually do maths.
They are fucking awful. And there's I'm doing A-level maths at the moment, and there's I do decision maths. It's a kind of new maths, and there was a point of it which is kind of specifically made to confuse you, because you have to make your own question for it. It gives you a scenario, and then you make an inequality for it. But I'm going off in maths now, but it's fucking awful. And I think they should put social justice into it as well, because as a maths student, I have no empathy, as that college study proved, of course.
Oh, well, of course. I mean, you can't. It's actually physically impossible for you to have empathy. You are a lifeless, soulless nerd.
That's true. Yeah. Every A I got just took away from my soul. Just
You probably hate dolphins too, don't you?
I probably hate dolphins.
Yeah.
Yeah, they suck cock.
Yeah.
Those privileged things.
And
Burn them all.
Somebody said in the chat, half girl, half hair dye. Every single one of the SJWs at my school has bright hair. It's fucking ridiculous. I don't know,
No
every
surprise.
single one. Every single one. It's ridiculous.
Dyed hair?
Yeah,
Dyed
but I
hair.
think it's glorious, don't you? I mean, it's
It's kind of like an identifier. It's
exactly. Exactly. As soon as you see that, you just know, okay, well, then they have nothing of value that I should pay attention to or listen to, and I can go on about my business.
I take advantage of this one feminist at my school, because I get darts off of her all the time, or cigarettes. Sorry, you guys don't know that term. I get cigarettes off of her like a mad motherfucker, and I just pretend to be her friend.
I heard
Huh?
Huh?
A lot of fag.
Yeah, a lot of fags off of her.
Fags for a fag. That's good.
It's true.
So, you know, the only part of that story that made any sense to me is that you and this girl at your school are both smokers, and you don't buy your own cigarettes.
Filthy.
The rest of it was superfluous.
Wait, but if she doesn't buy them, where does she get them from?
No, he doesn't buy them.
I know, but think about it.
There was no point.
Chain.
She gets them when she goes quote shopping, and then she posts the results to the Tumblr that they all use for lifting.
The fifn.
She's proud of her ill-gotten gains.
Are you because your videos, you do some video editing, obviously. When did you get into video editing?
Never. I can't even say that I edit videos. Now I've got a really shitty app on my iPad which crashes if I make videos more than 15 minutes, where you just kind of drag stuff to edit it. On a computer, I am completely
So you have
fucking useless.
GarageBand for YouTube.
Huh?
You have GarageBand for YouTube, is what you're saying.
Pretty much. That's pretty much what I have. I'm a noob. I tried to do it on my computer, but I don't have any money to buy a good program, and I'm a failure. And yeah, it doesn't work in my favor.
So you're not sitting in front of a professional quality mic and recording videos with no, okay.
No,
So here's an important question. Do your viewers care?
Do my viewers care? I
do you
don't
Do they
know.
enjoy your videos?
Yeah, do you put out content that's good anyway?
Would
you say?
I think it's good, but
So you're happy to put your name behind the content that you put out, correct?
yeah.
Okay. So the rest of it doesn't matter. It's not a fail.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I thought. But you know.
And I was personally, I enjoy your videos. I think you do a good job, and I think you should keep it up, honestly.
Thanks, man.
But yeah, moving on. Let's kind of talk about like we know that you weren't necessarily a feminist growing up, but what's like I want to know more of your origin. I want to know more of what caused you to get into this. Like, was it just watching the videos and thinking you could do it yourself, or was there more to it?
Well, hundreds of years ago, Sauron forged the One Ring. No, sorry. I was kind of a proto feminist sympathizer, but I was also a big atheist.
Okay, you know what? That brings us to a great question. What did you have any experience with the atheism plus and the falling apart of the movement, or were you too young at the time?
I think I was probably too. I was probably like, I don't know, 14 when that happened, and when I was 14, I was pretty. Oh, if I knew shit was going on, I'd probably be pretty aware of it, but I didn't know it was going on. Like I wasn't a moron at 14, but I didn't on YouTube. I didn't know what was it was for, kind of. So no, I never really got into that. My first really getting into YouTube was Jacqueline Glenn.
Oh my!
Yeah.
That's a big can of worms right there.
Yeah.
More like a can of human centipedes.
Because I've always been an atheist. Oh no, that's not true. No, that's not true. My first YouTube was far greater quality than Jacqueline Glenn. It was Ray William Johnson. So, but then I just watched videos like that where some of them would be kind of feminist-y, and I'd be like, sounds okay. But then I got into Jacqueline Glenn, because I was an atheist person. And then I discovered The Amazing Atheist. I like The Amazing Atheist.
Yeah, you know what? That's another can of worms I would love to open in a minute, but go on.
Okay.
The Amazing Atheist is a piece of shit. I just have to say.
Okay.
Gothic's not a fan.
Gothic is not a fan.
And so are the fucking drunken peasants. I
like the drunken peasant.
Oh man, I fucking hate you. You have to unsubscribe to my other channel.
Die in fire, you fucker. Go get raped in hell, you
children, please.
Your mother sucks cocks in hell.
Your mother sucks cocks in hell.
Okay, children.
For Gothic, you don't need the drunken peasant because you're always drunk yourself. So.
I know. Scotty Cena.
Magic gets it right.
I have a drunken peasant's T-shirt. Hate me.
Wow, you actually pay money to these hacks. Wow.
Yeah, boy. I'm a fucking shill. I don't
Oh, you're a fucking idiot.
Wait until the day you have your own shirt, fifn.
I'm an idiot for liking things.
Ooh,
Obviously.
we should have triggered shirts. The
Yeah,
shirts
for
are the
like
best.
I'm an
A
idiot for
fifn
liking
shirt.
things.
Gothic is a little salty about the drunken peasants. Just forget it.
Yeah, it's salty.
I'm sure we'll talk about that later. But
Yeah, go on.
yeah,
Salt is good with tequila and lime.
I'm no longer subscribed to Amazing Atheist. I'm sure you'll be happy about that. But
Oh yeah,
yeah, I got into him, and he did the feminist thing, and I didn't really do much. I was like, oh, they sound stupid. And then I looked up some stuff for myself, looked at some feminist studies that people had linked me when arguing about Anita Sarkeesian, where they had sample sizes of 84. One of them, I remember this specifically, had a sample size of 84, and it tried to prove that sexism in video games was caused sexism by saying that they showed just a woman's face, then the whole body, and then just the body, right? And when it was just the body, the people thought that she had a lower IQ, but there was a difference of 4%, and from this they showed that objectification causes everybody to hate women. It was fucking ridiculous.
4%.
Yeah.
God, they need to show me what statistical test they did.
Yeah, it was that was their big result, 4% difference. But
That's on 84 people.
He values the word test anyway.
yeah. Anyway, and then I watched a Sargon video and loved it, but I heard him say joke about him being an MRA because he does that, and I didn't know. It was my first video, and I think it was from watching The Drunk Peasants and The Amazing Atheist. I was like, not sure about that. I've heard bad things about MRAs, so I actually turned off Sargon for like fucking 3 months or some shit, because I'm yeah, which was retarded.
Right.
But yeah, well, I then got back into Sargon, and then I started not caring about religion because I never fucking saw any religious people being cunts. They're somewhere, but usually they're all completely fucking nice. But I was seeing the fucking social justice warriors fucking everywhere. Like, it was mainly because I do music, because I'm even more of a faggot, and
Right.
he's a creationist, and he's the most lovely bloke I've ever met. But all the feminists I know are fucking cunts. So I was like, oh, I dislike that more. So that's why I got into this. If that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense.
I love your
Okay,
explanation,
I
man.
have a question. What was your early impression of MRAs then?
My early impression of MRAs was that they're, I don't know, weirdos, I guess. But that was just because of I had seen the Drunken Peasants make fun of them once, probably, and the Amazing Atheist say, "I wanted to attract sexists, somebody that probably identifies as an MRA." Like some of the stuff Amazing Atheist says is fucking retarded. I'll admit that, because obviously I now identify as an MRA, blah blah.
Sorry, but the majority of the things that he says are retarded.
I was about to say everything that he says is retarded.
All right, children, we'll get into that in a minute.
Opinions.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, everybody's got their own opinion, and that's fine. So don't be so dismissive when I state mine.
I was joking, man. Yeah. Is anything? Did I explain? I think
Yeah, I mean, okay, let's just get on to the Drunken Peasants thing. So
Okay.
I'll briefly go over my history with the TJ and the Drunken Peasants, and then we can have some other people pipe in. So I was actually, he was the first person who exposed me to this entire. I wouldn't be here if I had never discovered TJ. I don't think. So I have to give that credit there, because he's one of the people that basically introduced me to a lot of this bullshit. And originally, like you said, it was in the form of religious stuff, but I slowly drifted away from that as I realized it wasn't exactly as black and white as he was painting it. And then he started the Drunken Peasants, and I was a big fan, really big fan from the start. I found it really entertaining, regardless of. I didn't really think about it too much though at the beginning, and I was a patron for a while, and I even bought one of their shirts, and I watched them for a long time, and then they got to a point and I think it was you mentioned the episode where they had an MRA on, and they like you said, TJ introduced her as somebody who's a sexist, and it that prompted me to go explore MRAs and what they were, and I ended up finding Bane, and from there I watched the propaganda of toxic feminism, and I was like, well, I don't. It seems like a lot of people are misrepresenting this group, if anything. So, but I mean, I still watch Drunken Peasants occasionally. I can't stand some of their guests, and I will watch it on certain occasions. But I do still find it slightly entertaining in a sort of Alex Jones show kind of a way. So I don't know. That's my relationship with the Drunken Peasants. But go ahead.
You pretty much explained me. Also, is my level pretty good if
you're
I
fine.
talk like this? Yeah. All right.
You're fine.
I wouldn't compare them to Alex Jones, but because most of what they respond to is just fucking retarded anyway, so they don't have to be completely insane. But I don't watch them much now. I think I'm subscribed to them, but I kind of stopped after. Fuck, when was it? It was on a specific episode, maybe. Fuck, maybe well, I don't remember anymore. But yeah, they can be fucking retarded. But they're sometimes good. Like Sargon's appearances were good. And the Brett Keane episode was fucking wonderful.
It was funny. It was hilarious. Yes.
And they can be funny, but they can be fucking retards. Like when they responded to that guy's tease video. Actually, they didn't fucking respond to it. They were just.
Oh, there's nothing here. Let's just move on.
Yeah, they tend to be. I guess the only criticism of them is that they tend to be very dismissive, and their commentary tend to be somewhat more shallow as opposed to, like, I guess, in depth or addressing the actual points. A lot of times they'll just pick at things like looks or other weird quirks per se. And
I'm gonna go on.
No. Drunken Peasant, the way to describe them the better is Anita Sarkeesian before Anita Sarkeesian event begins. That's it. There you go.
Show me a
Banana in your asses.
Tell me a specific thing then that makes them. So it just
like Anita Sarkeesian, you mean? Oh, fine. The retard. What it was called?
Okay. You know what?
The non-productive Kickstarter for the beginners. You can look all this stuff up.
I've listened to many explanations for this from many different people, and you're gonna hate me, Magic, but as much as I don't think TJ is like always. I think he makes a lot of mistakes. I think these were mistakes. I don't think that he was maliciously scamming people. I think
I need a better camera. Please buy me some of my Christmas gift. Oh, please. I need more book to be a little more brighter and stuff. Yeah, pay for those too.
Okay.
When does he need
Well, Magic doesn't. Basically, Magic doesn't like TJ because of the e-begging he's done in the past.
Well, he's very blatant about his e-begging, though.
Yeah,
he doesn't sit around acting like he's not being a shill.
Yeah, his fans want to give him money, and he lets them.
If people are stupid enough to give him money, like I was, then what is he doing wrong? I mean, you like capitalist, Magic.
Yeah, I do, but it's not the same thing with this Kickstarter affair about the non-productive website and the other one that he did before.
He fucked up. I agree that TJ is kind of a fucking moron. I don't think he's fucking evil. I think he's a moron that sometimes makes funny videos. That's all I think.
Don't you think that Anita is evil, or she's just another moron?
Maybe she's a moron, maybe not. But TJ's points aren't generally as fucking retarded as her, because generally
Have
he
you heard
responds
his argument about the black community and stuff?
what, that there are problems with
No,
the
but
black.
there's also kerfuffle with atheism is unstoppable. Have you ever seen those?
I know that atheism unstoppable is a fucking moron, but I blacked out
How
of
is
that
he a
because I didn't
moral?
give a fuck.
You cannot
Because
even
of
discuss a single
comments that I've had with him, mate. I can fucking
He
read.
is a moron. He's a very close-minded moron.
He doesn't
Well,
give
maybe
a fuck about
maybe
issues.
he's right about maybe I don't know because I haven't heard enough. But let's say maybe we'll give him he's right about the black issue. Let's say that doesn't change the fact that he's wrong about a lot of other stupid shit.
I have a question. I don't want to change the subject. What exactly did he say? I just would like to know.
He pretty much said that he doesn't care why there is more black crime. He just says fuck crime and fuck people who commit crime, and that's what you should do.
Oh, well, that doesn't sound right.
I know, but if you say, okay, I want to solve these issues, he'll fucking laugh. I've got comments.
No, he's not interested in solving issues. He's interested in condemning the crime.
Right, so that just makes him a moron. That makes him as big a moron, Gothic.
No, it fucking doesn't.
Yes, it does. Yes, it fucking does, Gothic. Yes, it
separate issues. It's two fucking separate issues.
No, he doesn't propose any kind of solution. He just sits there
That's
going,
That's two fucking different issues.
Actually, his solution is one of his solutions is committing less crime. But his point is not to talk about how to solve the issues. His point is to talk about how I guess the police. I guess he's more of defending the police. And
Nah. The whole thing is just to recognize that there is an issue in the first place. To that extent, I agree. But you cannot just dismiss it and say, "Oh, but
when he says there's an issue, his issue is that black people are committing more crime. It's not that there are much more single parents in the black community. There are much that black community is much higher poverty. Black community has loads of shit. It's that they commit more crime.
how is all of this relevant to the situation?
It is relevant.
It's
not relevant. And besides,
no, it is relevant. And you guys,
Hispanic poverty rates are identical. We're very similar to black poverty rates. Yet Hispanics don't commit as much crime. So this is
or you can compare crime rates in Appalachia, in poverty areas in Appalachia, and you'll still see a decreased crime rate. Of course, then again, that's not an urban area. Blah 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 blah.
Well, then you can't make a direct comparison then. It's not an urban area.
You can only compare poor black people to poor black people.
Well, no, it's not the skin color. We're talking about urban area.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't think he thinks that black people commit more crime because they're black, but I don't think he cares why they commit more crime. And I don't think if he did know, I don't think he'd care about solving issues, which I think is a bad thing. It's like somebody
tell us the reason. Why do you think they commit more crimes?
Because of the
well,
things.
Give us your reason.
He already mentioned the reasons, Gothic, but you're being obtuse. So you guys, I'm gonna be completely honest here because you guys do this whole, it's all white guilt nonsense, and it's not. It's not.
What are you saying? Are you saying that they commit more crime because they're black? I don't understand your point. I'm not saying you're racist. I'm just saying you haven't said anything about why you think it yet. Why do you think?
Why do I think? I think because of the culture, the gangster culture.
Yeah, maybe.
Which promotes those ideas. Because the Hispanic population is very comparable to the black population, and the Hispanic population doesn't commit as much crime.
Maybe. Problems. Yeah. Well, you can solve those problems as well. But there's also having a much higher single parent will also increase crime. So will loads of shit. But I don't think he cares about anything. He just wants to condemn people I think that's all he wants, and
But
I
at the
don't.
same
Well, he's
time,
he,
at the
what, no,
same
what,
time,
what
Sorry,
he okay. I think what he's doing is he's trying to combat this notion that there's all these racist cops out there just beating on black people. That's what he's trying.
Right.
That's what he's sort of disputing. He's saying that the reason why you have you're having a lot of situations with police and black people because of the crime rates.
You can say that, but I've seen him actively just when people are just talking about how we can solve some issues that might lead to higher crime. I see him coming into them and just saying, just calling people, saying that you have white guilt, and saying that there's. I said about the war on drugs. And I said that's a problem that we should probably stop doing that. And he was like, "Oh, look at you thinking that you can make differences." I have the fucking comments saved on my computer, and I was like, "That's a problem that fucking hits everybody." But and he was just making fun of the fact that I thought that you could do something against an issue. So I think he just likes trolling people and being a cunt, and
No,
I don't like him enough to watch his videos despite that, to be honest. But I'm not full TJ on it.
I
I'm
would
not
say,
full.
yeah, I would go. Let me see if this makes any sense. I would say he's a moron, but he's not a racist.
No, yeah, I don't think he's a racist. I
Well, I
don't
think
think many people are racists.
one of the main stakes of
Yes,
proposal is that he believes black people should basically own up and solve it themselves, not
yeah.
being treated like children, to own
Oh,
up to their own crimes and solve it themselves, basically.
yeah, yeah.
I think
Oh,
everybody should help everyone, to be honest.
I want to hear what Aloe has to say about this.
oh, I've been told that by my peers of different colors that I should do something about my people. So you guys got any suggestions? Cause I'm not in the hive mind of all my black brethren, so I don't
You
really.
mean
That's the
you
first
wanna
step.
really
you don't have
great,
access to the Black Mind Borg?
Yes, I am
you
not
want a
part of
really
the
great
hive mind.
suggestion, Aloe?
Yes.
I have an amazing suggestion. And
What
it's
is
the
it?
same suggestion that I would apply to anybody that asks that question, and it would be lead by example.
Exactly, and
All
you're
right.
doing
Well,
so
I'm
right.
Hey,
already
real
doing that.
quick before we continue, is Omegon? Omegon, are you taking off?
Yes, I want a minute.
Okay, I just want. All right, I was just reading the chat. I just wanted to
What is this
thank you
guy
for.
named? Omegon?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you for.
Omegon sounds like a Godzilla monster or some shit. You right?
Something like that, yes.
Yeah, so just thanks for joining us, and whatever.
Thanks for
Yeah,
the.
thanks for putting him on the spot, Guinness.
See him.
You're welcome. That's my job.
Yeah, thanks. Speak to you guys
Yeah.
later.
So the quote from Guinness is basically, so long and thanks for all the fish.
So long and thanks for all the
You do
fish.
realize
Okay,
he wasn't
so-
actually saying that he was leaving. We were just conversing in the chat, right?
Oh, see, sorry. I
You
I was
motherfucker!
just pointing that out.
Worst
I
host
dropped the
ever.
bomb.
Aloe, okay, let me ask Aloe a question. Aloe, what do you feel like when you see a bunch of white people talking about black people and their issues?
I normally feel like they don't know what they're talking about,
Fair enough.
honestly. But that's just my opinion.
Fair enough.
Does that
How
apply
do you
to?
feel when black people talk about the way white people are able to live their lives?
I
Yeah.
honestly think they don't know what they're talking about, but that's just my opinion.
Well, that's
Same.
good.
At least you're consistent, so that's
Yeah, at least consistency is important.
Yeah. I don't understand white culture, and I'm pretty sure a lot of white people don't understand the black culture that well.
Shit, I don't understand white
Yeah.
culture. I don't even know what the
I
fuck that
don't
means.
understand any culture. I am a loner to fuck. Not that I can, yeah. But anyway, can we talk about something that isn't to do with fucking specific demographics of people having?
Yeah, let's go back to.
no, but let's talk about specific people. Why do you? Fuck!
That wasn't me.
Go ahead, Magic.
Mario, what's up? Okay.
And
Sorry about that.
well, let me see.
Your mic is apparently too loud for him. I don't.
Yeah, apparently Mario's ears are really sensitive.
Yeah, it's fine for me. So
Yeah, I'm actually happy.
Yeah, maybe instead of imposing your will on others, Mario, maybe you should change something about yourself.
yeah, you fucking
Anyway,
communist
moving
dictator.
on. Magic had a comment. Magic.
Forget it.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, we have Mario the oppressor over here. Probably gonna
You're
take a
not the
mushroom and
DM
jump on
anymore,
us all.
Mario. You're not the DM anymore.
Yeah, bro, this ain't your campaign.
First it was the turtles, Mario, and now you're repressing magic.
All right, moving on. Let's talk a little bit about. So we talked about like the drunken peasants and stuff. Is there any other YouTubers that you've been a fan of that were not that you find yourself disagreeing with a lot? Let's say, or is there anybody that you just suck the cock of eternally?
Can I impose my will and ask a question by myself?
Yeah. Go ahead, Magic.
Because
Go ahead.
I think it will be interesting.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you guys in general that you've been a fan of in the past, let's say in music taste or movie taste, that you regret now? Or that you watching that you say, oh, how batshit insane is that? You know?
That's a good question.
I like mostly the same music as I always did. I used to listen to more crappy rap, but now I listen to stuff that I think is better rap. But
I've always listened to rock and roll, so I think I've always had decent taste in music.
I like some rock and roll. I listen to.
Let me just put an example for you. I was listening to System of a Down. I don't know if it's because of the language barrier that I had before.
Yeah.
But looking back at it right now, I can see that they are full-blown Marxists.
They're fucking outrageous, man.
Yeah.
System of a Down are ridiculous. It's kind of hilarious. I didn't listen to them much. Let's see. I'm trying to think of like a good example. Maybe the closest thing I could think of is like maybe a little bit Oasis, because people people just keep harping on me for it, so I get a little bit like ashamed because they're like complete fucking sellouts. So
I don't know. I don't listen to that much music, so.
I'm trying to think of a movie though, or like
I used to listen to Michael
I
Savage
think
a
of
lot.
movies. I used to watch lots of shitty movies. Transformers movies. I used to like them. To be fair, I am young, so it doesn't take. It wasn't very far back when I was young enough to like really shitty movies. So, you know, for most people, I'm young enough now. So, you know, yeah, I think the YouTuber one I have more of an answer to. So
yeah, go ahead.
Jack and Glenn. Used to like her a lot.
You know what? Here's actually kind of rounding us out. We were talking about atheism is unstoppable, and this is one of his good videos. I think that he made was Jacqueline Glenn is the human centipede of atheism.
Yeah. Yeah, that's such a good comparison.
That's a really good comparison. So, like, just to kind of close off that subject, I think they both can make good points, and they both can be really stupid, and that's just kind of how I feel about it.
I think everybody can make good points, and everybody can be really stupid. So
yeah.
Is there a balance?
I'd say the balance is pretty equal for both of them. They're both pretty equal stupid shit to their smart shit.
All right then. That's cool. They say real stupid shit, but they end up making up for it.
Usually. Anyway, so yeah, any other YouTubers that like spring to mind besides Jack and Glenn?
What I like to respond to something that dude said just then. Usually they make up for it. Jack and Glenn doesn't make up for it. She's got nothing to make up for it. She's an unoriginal cunt.
Yep.
Other YouTubers, Shane Dawson, shit like that. I used to like shit.
Yeah, Gothic has a point. Even DP admitted that she was a plagiarist.
Yeah. I can't think of any that I used to watch for the things that I disagree with now. They were always, I used to watch them, but I never watched their retarded shit. and I looked back and didn't realize how retarded they were because I skipped out videos
Is there
that I didn't.
anybody who whose dick you just continuously suck? Who's just you're just
Sargon.
complete Sargon? Yeah.
Yeah, fucking love Sargon. He was in a Skype chat with me a bit ago. He's in the Skype chat, but he only came on once. He might come back, I don't know. And I was fucking amazed. I fucking love Sargon. I don't even care if he knows. Because he does know. Because I'm top comment on most of his videos, so he probably
Well,
thinks I'm a stalker.
we're still working on getting him on the show. So like I said, if we can't manage that, we'll
You're
spring you
willing
in
to
here.
be a bottom for Sargon.
Yeah, he
I
is.
would be a top, bottom, and side for Sargon. I fucking love the guy.
Would you fuck his
Okay.
beard?
I would fuck his beard. He lives near to me as well, so that could happen.
What about him do you like the most?
How likable he is. How he seems like just a normal bloke. He seems like a good guy that you could go down and just have a chat with. And
Do
yeah,
you ever
and
find yourself disagreeing with him, or do you just continuously find yourself nodding your head with him?
he abortion, I guess, but it's not a disagreement that matters because he's pro-choice anyway, so it doesn't really matter that I disagree
What's
with
his
him.
stance that you disagree with?
I'm pretty sure he thinks that like a 3 day old, like after it's conceived and then 3 days later or like pretty soon it's alive. Like I think I disagree with when it's considered a human. I guess. I suppose, but it doesn't really matter because he's pro choice anyway, so it doesn't make a
Right.
difference to anything. But I would disagree with him there, I guess. And sometimes he can make generalizations, I guess, but I think he assumes that we don't think he's being completely. He assumes that we don't take him literally in that point. But fuck knows. Maybe he's an evil cunt. No, I disagree with everything he says. I think he is Hitler. He is pretty much. He's almost as bad as Thunderfoot. Thunderfoot's just he's
That's a
Nazi
great subject,
supporter.
actually. What do you think of the whole Thunderfoot, Laughing Witch, Bewildered Ape, Jenny McDermott nonsense?
Jenny McDermott's a massive troll and she believes nothing she says. I think Thunderfoot probably shouldn't have done the Yelp thing, but then again, maybe it was the only way to stop her writing letters to his fucking employer and shit like that. So maybe it was justified. And I think that other things about that I have forgotten about. I think they're bad. That's pretty much the whole thing, isn't it? I'm not on the it was great what he did. That he really showed that bitch. I'm not on that side, and I'm not on the he's an evil bastard. We need to help Laughing Witch side. So
Right. So you're kind of in the middle of it.
Middle leaning towards Thunderfoot.
Yeah, that's kind of where I find myself too. I'm actually going to be a little bit more controversial, and I said this the other night. I think that I don't think that he necessarily did anything wrong in showing her business page. What do you think of that? Disagree?
I disagree.
Wrong is a strong word. Well, it's not really, but in this context, morally wrong. I'm not sure if it was. Well, maybe because it could have affected people that had nothing to do with it. If it was her own business and she was the only person in it, then I think morally it would be right, but I'm not sure if it would still be a good thing to do because it encourages other people to do shit like that, I guess.
Right.
But in the sense morally, I'm not sure because of it affecting other people.
Well, typically, if anyone is sending like emails to some employer or something, usually the idea is that they're going to harm the business if they don't do anything about it. So there's always going to be a collateral damage in cases where people are contacting employers when they're trying to harm someone's career or something.
Yeah, I think we should encourage people not to try to ruin people's careers. Apart from Guinness, I think we should all write to his employers, tell him that he's a neo-Nazi. I'm doing that right now, actually.
I'm actually planning to quit my job, so you go ahead and do that.
We got a letter from some British cunt saying that you're a neo-Nazi. Care to explain it? No, I'm quitting. Fuck you.
No, fuck you. I quit.
We got a letter saying that you're going to quit, so we're going to fire you preemptively.
Anyway, so we've been going for about an hour or so, Fifn. You want to keep going?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
What's the next topic of discussion?
Well, I've done a fair share of question asking. Does anybody here have some questions they want to ask Fifn?
Yeah, can I ask you,
Go ahead,
Feminism is for nobody, what do you think of transgender?
Ooh.
Basically.
Controversial. I think that if I know somebody, or I am talking to somebody, or one of my friends wants me to call him or her a specific pronoun, I'll call them it. I think, and I'm not. I think
out of a respect thing, right?
Yeah, partly because of respect, and partly because.
What if a friend asked you to call them Z?
Fuck them. They can go fuck themselves.
So Z's too far for you.
Yes, they can go jump off a balcony.
Well, let's just take an example like Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah, Caitlyn Jenner thinks she's an attention whore. But I think it's possible to have a kind of feminine brain type thing if you're a man, which will make you feel like you're not a man.
Hello.
Yeah. So I think it's a real thing, and I don't think they're all doing it for attention. But I also think a lot of them are doing it for attention. But yeah, I think it's probably best to call people by what they want. But if somebody doesn't, I don't think they're an awful person. I think they just disagree with me on if it's a real thing. I think it is a real thing. I think transgenderism is a real thing. Okay.
I think I would be mostly on your position, and at the same idea, I draw the line at Zir, and Zer.
Yeah.
Like, I'll call you Shklee. Yeah, that works.
It's just another name to be called, though, so I really don't see how you wouldn't object to one but object to the other.
I think I'll just make up my own gender-neutral pronoun, and I'll use it for everybody.
You can call me Master.
Minkus. Minkus might be my new gender-neutral pronoun.
Oh god, you're Minkus. No.
I'll be like, oh,
Minkus is
so you're
privileged.
Does anyone else have a question, or Gothic? Did you want to sort of talk more about that?
Or Gothic? Are you on? Do you subscribe to me? I'm sure I've saw your name before.
Yes, you did. We used to have a bit of a banter before the honey badger thing. You actually subscribed to me for banter, because I was annoyed of random people just subscribing to my channel.
Oh fuck, I remember that.
Yeah, I was the one with the political compass big.
Yeah. Okay. Go on.
Oh yeah, I've got nothing. That's all I needed to know. So, does anyone else have a question?
Yeah, anybody else have a question for Pippin? No?
Actually, what did you push you particularly into making your own videos?
What pushed me?
Or what is your inspiration?
I'd say watching people like Sargon and Tilde and shit like that what made me want to make my videos. But looking on my videos, they're kind of like Sargon, but less serious and less good and more childish, um, and slightly ruder. So probably mainly people like Sargon and made me want to do it, and probably inspired me quite a bit. Yeah, that's. But my first videos were nothing like my new videos. They were just going through Tumblr and finding stupid shit. Well, my first video was. No, that's a lie. Fuck. No, my first videos were what it was about. I remember it now. I fucking love science. Posted something saying the Big Bang Theory was disproved, and I was like, okay, I'll click on that, and it was just talking about how there wasn't a singularity at the start of the Big Bang Theory, yeah, at the start of the Big Bang, and I was like, yeah, that hasn't been part of the theory fucking forever. So I made a video on that, pretty much saying that I fucking love science is a fucking retard. But I showed my face in that, so
so you've doxed yourself.
Yeah, I deleted it, didn't I? But that's what motivated me into making my first video. And after that, when I saw stupid things happening, I was like, well, I've already made a video, so I might as well do it. So that's, I guess, where that came from.
And what direction do you want your channel to go to?
I want it to rape Guinness somehow through the interwebs.
That's a good start in my book.
Yeah.
It's a very nervous laugh, Guinness.
He's got cameras in my house.
If that's
anyway,
the purpose,
so.
I'm gonna subscribe right after we're done.
Yeah, I get people saying that I'm funny, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? But
funny looking, maybe.
People don't like the skull mask. I wore a mask on my videos because I don't want to show my face, and they're like, take off the skull mask. And if you can buy me something that's better, please do. But I don't have anything in the moment.
Just don't go full Repsion and wear a fucking Deadpool mask, okay?
I didn't wear a Deadpool mask. I do like Deadpool though.
I know. Just don't go full Deadpool, okay? Just don't. I'll lose a lot of respect for you.
I won't.
You don't like Repsia?
I don't.
I'm mostly kidding.
I'm gonna say I would have thought you would have been a huge fan.
I'm not a big fan of Repsion.
Wow, that's surprising to me. Okay.
Yeah. What do you think of Repsion, Fifn?
I wouldn't say I dislike him as a person.
No, I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't say I hate his videos. I think they're bad, but and I don't see how he has so many subscribers. Well, I know he's got so many subscribers because TJ pimped him out. But
that's exactly why.
But I don't have strong yeah, that's how I feel about him. I have no strong feelings apart from I don't really like his videos. That's all I have.
That's pretty accurate. I mean, that sounds like me too.
I got another question. What triggers you?
Huh?
What triggers you personally?
Anisian.
Anisian? That's a good answer.
But in general term, do you have something that you get pissed off or?
Quote mining. That's one of my biggest triggers because it's so fucking dishonest. People misrepresenting people generally, and to their face. That's because that happens to me when I talk to feminists. Guinness. Not the drink, the person, and people that shout racism and sexism, just because I've met so many of them, and I've never seen them call a sexist or a racist or sexist.
You actually met some of those in real life.
Yeah, fucking loads of them. I said we were talking about Islam, and I said it's a bad religion, and they said that's so racist, and also you can't say that, that's their beliefs. And I was like, well, you can't say the KKK are racist or bad because that's their beliefs. They don't
I
answer
just
bad.
call them retarded because Islam is not a race.
I know that too, but still.
No, Pat, don't you know? You can be racist against an ideology. Duh.
Oh, sweet, thank God. Okay, now we can finally get people to stop discriminating against Christians.
Sweat.
Hello, we're of the same race now.
High five, man.
Woo!
I'm
There
gonna.
are Christians in the chat. Oh my God.
That's right, man. We're gonna steal your soul.
I better go full atheist. Do you guys not know about Richard Dawkins? Come on. I'm joking.
It's cool, man.
He's not joking.
I'm half joking. No, I'm joking.
Nah, Richard Dawkins, not the best.
No, I don't think he's the best. But
I mean,
Alright.
Christopher Hitchens has more style.
You spend too much time talking about actual people and YouTube channels.
Exactly.
Actual topics.
He promotes Jacqueline Glenn so much, it's fucking ridiculous.
All right, let's talk about some actual substantive issues then. Let's talk about what do you think about immigration, specifically in your country?
I don't think. Well, I think it should be controlled. That I don't think that we should stop all immigration, and I think very few people do think that. But I think we should know the background of people that want to live in the country, and I don't like what we currently have, which is like, hey, let's open our asshole so everybody can jump in. Yay! Because Labour need votes. Whoop whoop.
Here's a specific question. Do you think Europe has sort of a moral duty to take in all the refugees?
That's a good question. The fact that we don't know how many of them are refugees, because there are like 3 million of them or something, and like only a small portion of them are actually from Syria and places where there's an actual war. And that's kind of dodging the question, I guess. It's a hard question because I think countries nearby. It's the policy to countries nearby to take them in, but then again, countries nearby can't really they can't take all of them at the moment. I mean, Saudi Arabia could because it's fucking rich as fuck, but they don't want to because they're cunts. Because if you're right next to the country, then that's kind of what happens. That's the code, but. I think maybe if we could confirm the what the fuck is called identifying. If we knew the people, then definitely, as long as we could handle them. But at the moment, England specifically can't fucking handle too much more immigration, because we are overpopulated to fuck, and we don't have the infrastructure, and we don't have anything. I think we should try to take as many as we can, but I think we should make sure we know who they are. So, kind of, and I am rambling. Fuck. But,
No,
yeah,
dude.
Well, are your concerns economic or cultural or what?
Well, they are coming from a completely different culture. But even if people were coming from America, if there were 100,000 people coming from America to here, I'd want to know who they fucking were. But then again, people in America have loads of paperwork that they could show us to confirm who they are. These people don't, Like some of them do. Some of them have paperwork from Syria that isn't actually from Syria. It's fake passports from Syria.
I have a question, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, sure.
I was just curious. So with somebody's mic is still hot, so there's an echo. With the mass immigrations that are happening over there, are you at all concerned of a repeat of what happened over this last year? Sargon commented on it with all the young children basically being raped and the government not doing anything about it because they were worried about being called racists.
Yes.
The
Rotherham rape story.
Yeah, Rotherham, Oxford, couple other places. Many there were.
I mean, I know that there's a lot more to it. I fully realize that, but it at least from my perspective, it seems that allowing mass immigrations of this sort and not really requiring much in the way of documentation and essentially having these people emigrate into a culture that is so concerned with political correctness and the desire to not offend anyone because of their cultural beliefs or what have you, seems to me that it creates a situation that's very ripe for abuses of that sort to proliferate.
Yeah, I pretty much agree there. I'm on Sargon, pretty much. I usually am on Sargon, pounding his ass. Yeah.
We know you like to paddle him.
Huh?
We know you like to paddle him.
Yeah. Yeah. So I agree with that. I'm almost more concerned with how PC the police and stuff are becoming. I'm almost more concerned than the immigration. But then again,
well, we could talk about that. Let's talk about police. What's your issue with the police being like? What's your experience with the police being PC?
My experience, well, since I'm white, they don't tend to try to do that, but well, no, they always try to be. I've never really had experience with police being like that. I've had experience with police being fucking useless and shit, but generally the police in my area are alright. But then again, in my area, we don't really have any. Where it's like 99% white or something, and yeah. So
have you noticed a problem with police sort of outside your area then? Like, have you just noticed a problem in general, sort of a thing?
Well, I guess an example in a there's a town near me. I probably shouldn't be saying it, fuck it. Called Bristol, and there is constantly sirens everywhere. And that place is mostly white, and it's got the crime rate is probably slightly less than London, so police are going everywhere. But when I go to places like London, I fixed a forklift in London once, and I went into a part of it that is extremely poor and extremely pretty. I didn't see most of the people there were like the immigrants, pretty much.
Right.
And I've never seen a police car go down there, and that kind of made me, because maybe they don't. They're afraid of. Maybe they are afraid of offending people there, because in every single time I go to this town near me, they are fucking everywhere. But when I go to this specific part of London, I've never seen one. But maybe that's just me being weird. But fuck knows. If that makes any sense.
Oh, I think that makes sense.
It actually kind of reminds me of this thing that happened with I'm not sure. I think it was a Baltimore riot or something, where the mayor told the police to just let them run amok and do whatever damage they're going to do.
Yeah, that's pretty much the point I was
making.
Right,
when he said that they should have the freedom to be able to, riot when they were actively destroying their own communities, which seemed to me the most laughable thing because it's their own communities.
Hmm.
And also, I don't like the fact that you're not, the police are not allowed to be from the town that they live in. They're not allowed to police the town that they live in, which I think is stupid. Yeah.
So
Really?
if you live in town A, you cannot be part of town A's police department, but you can be a part of any other town's police department.
What are
I
they worried
think
that like
so.
bias that you're gonna
Yeah,
like?
you're gonna treat like people who you know better than you should. He's like, oh, I know you. You're my friend's daughter. I'm not. I
Yeah,
don't want to know
but
that.
I mean, Aloe, you have a local police department,
Yep.
right? Yeah, and like here we have a local police department, and the pool of officers, more than 50% or so come from the local community, and then like 25% or so may come from a few towns over or something like that.
Well, my sister did a police sciences degree or some shit, and I'm pretty sure she told me that, but I might be wrong on that. If some British person watches this and says I'm talking shit, then I must be talking shit. But I'm pretty sure that they're not allowed, which I
I think
think
we've
is
only got
stupid.
Steven in the chat who's British. So Steven.
Hello. Chat's too much to deal with.
I don't think Stephen knows or is aware of the
No.
question.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I lost the question.
Anyway, I'm almost 100% sure, but
Well, it's interesting you say that about the police not policing against their own neighborhood, because a lot of people who are complaining about police brutality say that the problem is that the police are policing someone else's neighborhood, so they don't have to worry about it. And
Exactly.
it's better if the police have a connection with the community they're policing, so that there's lines of communication.
I think if you care about the neighborhood, then you care about the people.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that statement.
Yeah.
Well, because it gives the people involved ties to each other in more than just a completely superficial way. They may know people in common or go to perhaps the same church or something. So community ties can run deeply, and I think, that would be something that would contribute to a bit more understanding in those situations, for sure.
Indeed. I think we've got less of a problem in England with police than America does. Almost to a massive. I think while your problem is they're too violent, apparently, I haven't looked into it, so maybe I'm talking shit. Well, our problem is almost that they're not violent enough. I mean, with prosecuting fucking people who are raping everyone. It's way
Right.
different.
So is that an issue that has to do more with apprehension of these criminals, or is the issue more with the prosecution of them?
I think it's by apprehension. Do you mean like arresting them and that sort of
Arresting them and catching
Yeah.
them, writing them
I
up,
think it's-
incarceration, whatever.
I think it's more that they won't even go as far to arrest them, right, in the Rotherham cases and stuff like that.
Wow.
Right.
I think, but I'm not as well versed in it as I'd like to be. I am a child, so.
Well, here in America, and some couple of the other American fellows in here can probably either verify or refute what I'm about to say. But I think that a lot of the issues that we tend to run into over here, specifically over more of the last decade, tend to do with the increasing amount of militarization of police forces. So there are certain grants and the like funds that get allocated to police departments on a yearly basis, right? So it's essentially the same as really any other government body that is given an allotment of funds. But with them, they are allowed to do things like, for example, not necessarily an exaggeration, they're allowed to buy tanks. They get given incredibly high-level equipment that is typically only used by the federal government for extreme situations. Yeah, so I'm sure you've seen, probably in stories on the news, things about SWAT teams here in the States, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so a SWAT team operates essentially, they are trained by and they operate in almost an identical fashion to a military unit. The tactics that they use, the level of escalation, and how they treat these situations are really very militaristic.
I believe the military has their pretty much own SWAT, and they act pretty much the same as SWAT. I forget what they're called, but yeah, that sounds a good description of SWAT.
Yeah, like my county just bought, our sheriff just bought a armored vehicle for $250,000.
Right.
But a lot of the cases that are being sort of, I'd say, sensationalized by the media aren't necessarily the issue. The issue isn't necessarily militarization. It seems more like it's become this popular issue, and I think it gets used as well. And I think part of the problem is that there's a lot of sensationalization of police brutality, so it kind of puts things out of proportion, I think.
Well, the way that I honestly see that is, I think that for the most part, people that take on this job, at the very least when they start out, it's because they want to do some real good. I think that, like in any other profession where one deals with the public, the people tend to get burned out rather quickly, and you also have to understand that these people get exposed to basically the worst of the worst. People don't call the police when they're having a good day, right? So they're never walking into a pleasant situation ever. And I think that the rate of burnout, that these people experience, I think that the system probably needs to change. But they stay because they get, excellent benefits, and they make a good living at it for the most part. So I think it's really a difficult call to say that, police brutality is as massive, or should I say as pervasive of an issue as it gets made out to be. I don't honestly think it is, but I think specifically in the cases where we do see an increasing amount of force being used against the general public, it does coincide with departments that have a more streamlined program and a higher level of training, if you want to call that militarization, than perhaps surrounding areas do. That's just kind of my take on it.
There is McDowell County, and here's some information I pulled up. Kanawha County in West Virginia, which houses Charleston, the capital, through the 1033 program, if you guys know what that is. It's through like the Department of Defense. Long story short, they give military
DoD grants.
Yeah. But Kanawha County got 600 weapons. Wood County got 34 assault rifles, 185 pieces of night vision equipment, and 40 pieces of body armor. 2 grenade launchers were issued to the program to law enforcement for Berkeley County and Campbell County. McDowell County, which is one of the poorest counties in the U.S., got a mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicle. And 20 of West Virginia's counties have not received any weapons or equipment through the 1033 program.
Right, so I mean, even for incredibly poor areas, the police get supplied with hardware that they really don't have a need for. But to kind of, I guess, try and swing this back around to the immigration issue, the whole Rotherham rape case, that entire situation seemed to almost be swept under the rug. It really didn't get any attention. There wasn't much of a spotlight shown on it. and it also seemed that there was actually probably a high level of corruption involved because of involvement in abuses by government officials. So I think it's kind of a sticky situation. So what I so feminism. What would you say would be a good starting point to try and at least make it to where these disparate groups can have some sort of harmony living together, seeing as there's nothing that can be done at this point to halt the immigration that has already occurred?
That's a good point. I've never really thought about that. The maybe because there's lots of mosques and stuff. Maybe if mosques and churches and stuff started like doing little events together and stuff. I think that could help.
So
Just
like
little things
outreach
like that.
programs, but
Yeah.
from the religious side?
Yeah, well, yeah, not just because I think that could possibly help. Because then that's one of the main problems is they're getting told to hate the West in places like mosques and stuff. So I think if there were a bit of combatant against that, then that would be helpful.
Do you
Right,
think
now
that,
it does.
do you think the immigrants are exclusive when it comes to interaction with the rest of the natives or whatever?
What do you pardon?
Do you find that the immigrants are tend to be more exclusive, like exclusive of the natives in their own communities or that they're forming?
Oh, or what? Don't tend to talk to the native British people and stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes, as far as I know, they tend to not where I live, but we don't have any immigrants really. But they do tend to make their own communities instead of trying to integrate, which is a big problem, I guess.
It's the same here in Belgium, pretty much. They are sort of encouraged by government to become different communities because of the sort of multicultural project they have going on, at least in my country. There's no real forced integration. They just sort of, they don't even have to integrate. A lot of them don't even speak Dutch. So it's pretty bad in my country as well, I suppose.
So do any of you see there being anything that can be done to somewhat lessen the cultural divide without resorting to creating new laws or things of that nature?
Promote more belly dance and less burqa.
Yes.
I don't necessarily think there's going to be a solution to this soon because I think there's such a radical difference between the West and sort of the Islamic values a lot of them have. I don't necessarily think there could be a solution.
Well,
because
I
we also have to consider
agree
they have
that because of their values, it's going to be very difficult. But I mean, we're not talking about a quick fix. It would definitely have to be a long-term thing. So,
actually,
go ahead.
a lot of the most radical ones aren't actually because a lot of people came over to work. They came over because they really wanted work, and then they found work, and because they work, they're happy, and then they love the country because it made them happy. Lots of people are like that. A lot of it is their sons and daughters who have been kind of indoctrinated by these mosques and stuff, and maybe the social justice warriors aren't exactly helping by spreading stuff like white people being oppressors and shit like that. I doubt that'll help because you see lots of them doing stuff with Muslims and stuff, saying shit like that, defending Islam and stuff. So,
It's also interesting if you take into account the birth rate. We'll actually see with the sort of people came over to work, they tend to have a way lower birth rate than those who were radicalized. They tend to be very much breeding at a higher rate than their parents because they're way more religious in a sense. And I would say that's in a sense that's a problem because if they're gonna give their radical notions of to their children, that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
So wait, are you guys saying that the children are even less assimilated or something?
Yeah.
Yes,
well,
yes, it
a
is.
lot of the time. A lot of the time.
The children are the more radicals. Actually, the more moderates are generally the old Muslims. In my at least my experience of talking to.
Yeah, a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So I have another question. Do you think that mainly the reason that a lot... One second.
Yes, he is being attacked by a pterodactyl.
I was once on a hangout and I didn't think my mic was working, and I was like, fuck. Like, get fifn, you alright?
So, my question was, do you think that it's mainly the younger generations of these immigrants, or the younger generations of the forefathers that follow these ideologies that have more of a propensity to be radicalized? Do you think that that's because they don't really see a clear place for them in the society where they happen to be? Do you think it's more because they're disillusioned and they don't have any great work that they see themselves as capable of performing?
Maybe that, or probably a mix between all of the things you just said, and a mix of obviously going to radical school. There are actually it's not even only mosques, it's schools as well. But yeah, it's probably a mix of all of those things. They don't see themselves as part of the society. They don't see themselves as English. Yeah. So you pretty much explained it pretty well.
So just more that they will continue to perceive themselves as outsiders as opposed to actually trying to integrate into the society that they have emigrated to.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Right.
yeah, you see lots of them, like if we were to I forgot where I was going. But yeah, they see themselves as more with the they see themselves as part of the country that their granddad or great granddad lived in, that he left because it was not a very nice place. They see themselves as a native from there, not from England, a lot of them.
Right.
But then again, I am a massive racist and evil sexist, so what do I know?
I don't know that I would necessarily adopt that mantle, because it all depends on who's the one that's trying to append that to you. I've found in most cases it tends to be a definite case of projection, so don't feel badly.
Has anyone got anything else that
Well, yeah.
Alright, I'm back. Do we want to keep going, or do we want to close off? It's up to you guys.
I don't mind if anybody's got anything else they want to say. Then
Lenny?
Well, I was going to say something. Yes, I went to a majority Muslim school in high school, and hearing their ideas, most of them are very radical. They had a lot of theories about the U.S. especially. They saw the U.S. as sort of imperial sort of attack on Islam or whatever, and they had very radical ideas when it came to I suppose freedom. They sort of thought that we had to adopt Islamic values. And I remember the day after Charlie Hebdo, I came to school, and there were literally people celebrating in my school because they thought the men deserved that because they drew Muhammad. So I mean, the young ones are generally the radical ones, even though they're all also very old preachers who are absolutely insane.
Yeah, like
Lenny, is this
radical.
school? Lenny, is this school the one that had the raise of hands over the free speech?
Yes, freedom of speech. Yes, we had a sort of interreligious discussion after that for some reason, and we had to raise hands to see who was in favor of freedom of speech, and it was like 10% of people raised their hands. It was literally insane. and I was obviously part of the people who raised my hand. But I mean, all the Muslims didn't raise their hands. A lot of atheists didn't raise their hands. I mean, for non-confessional studies, didn't raise their hands. Those are the SJWs pretty much of my school. But yeah, it was weird. No one really likes free speech, it seems, in Belgium. They just want to have a big government that tells them what they can say, what they can't. It's crazy. My school was crazy.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, and for example, we had, I think we had a few people who actually went to Syria who were in my school as well. So yeah, and that was a state school. So yeah. And I mean, in my city, 50% of people, at least in elementary school, 50% of students follow Islamic studies. I'm not saying that's wrong, anything wrong with that, but I mean, it just shows you how many Muslims there is in my city, in which the majority of people are pretty much Muslims in a sense when it comes to religious studies. It's interesting. But yeah, it was really bad, my school. You know, I made a lot of friends there from the Muslim communities, and I liked them. But whenever they talked about politics, I just was like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? And part of them was actually also, some of them were actually very much indoctrinated by their parents, I think. Some of them really had radical ideas from their parents. But yeah, I especially remember the Charlie Hebdo was very cruel to me. I was very much shocked when I heard that a lot of people were sort of glad that it happened. And yeah. They were like, well, you know, Islamophobia is everywhere, so someone finally did something about it. That was their sort of reasoning. It's fucking disgusting.
Jesus
That's pretty much what I have to add. Yeah, it's disgusting. But most of them are really radical. I think I'm not saying all Muslims or something in my community are like this, but I mean, the young ones tend to be more radical. It's really insane.
Everybody type not it in the chat. Last person to type it is leaving. Not you,
Well,
but
I mean, no, it doesn't count. I just went in. I don't care.
Not it. I'm not it.
No, you're not gonna be kicked, feminism, because you're like the main person here.
You're the guest here. You don't have to. You have special rights, man. You're privileged.
Okay,
like
Magic, can you leave for us, please?
You can kick him.
You have been chosen.
Yeah, just
You
kick
have-
him.
Actually, why are there so many people here?
Yeah, what's up?
I don't want to kick you, Magic. Leave peacefully.
Why there's so many
Yeah,
here?
just kick him.
The reason there are so many here because everyone loves you, man. Feminism from nobody, they all love you.
Yeah, dude, we're all subscribed.
I think we are, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
I'm flattered.
So, send
Are
it
you honored?
I think you should all start sucking my dick.
Speaking of
Sure.
sucking dick, Will.
Wait,
Oh
what?
no, it's Will.
You have a 40k artwork, I didn't even saw that.
So
Nice.
Will has joined us.
Everyone hide.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Will, welcome.
Californian has joined us. Hi, Will.
That's right, California peeps in the house.
So, yeah, I don't really have anything to add. Actually, well, I
Then
suppose.
shut up, Lenny. Let Will speak.
No. Fuck you, Eric. I'm gonna speak. I'm gonna filibuster. No, okay. You
That's
got it.
right. Stop shutting people up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Eric, lower your tone. Lower your tone, Eric. Lower your tone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, at the risk of being Donnie and wandering into a movie and having no idea what's going on and asking the plot like a child, what's going on?
Spoilers.
Talking about Islam.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
We're talking about how great I am.
Yes,
We're
we were
Talking
talking
about
about
my hair.
I have missed your lips.
So we've had a bit of a meandering discussion. Most recently, we were talking about immigration, crime levels, and potential ways to help such disparate cultures be able to get along together. We touched on mosques and possibly communities within the religious areas, whether that be any kind of church or mosque, helping the community to try and get along and perhaps not preaching extremism. And then we also touched on how extremism tends mostly to affect the younger generation. And we are currently talking with Feminism is for No One. And
nobody.
nobody.
Let me
My
throw
apologies.
Let me throw this out. Why should they be reasonable? Why not be radical? Why not be violent? Why not just do whatever they want? What's the downside for them?
Yeah, they're not being stopped or anything. No,
I mean, the progressives in my country would love that to happen because I don't know.
Well,
because they really want to see
they
the
will
rest of
until they
society
get
die.
hung from lampposts.
Right? Yeah.
The thing is, I guess the big change that's happened over the last, I don't know, say 30, 60 years, is that if they tried this, say, in your grandfather's generation, there'd be consequences.
Yeah.
There'd be consequences. There's like, no, this is why you don't do that. Let me show you. That's gone away, and so people feel that's an improvement. The problem is that they've effectively changed the rules of the game. And when you change the rules of the game, it changes the way people play the game. And a lot of people don't grasp that all these things are interrelated. So I guess what I'm saying, as regards all of the radicalism and whatever, why not be radical? Because there's nothing, nothing in the rules that make it ineffective to be radical.
So we want to do
there's no consequence.
You want to do a full Geert Wilders? That's what you're saying.
I'm just saying that if there's no consequence and you can get away with it infinitely, then why not? I mean, it's clearly it's okay according to the de facto rules of the game at this point. So.
Well, like I said, I don't necessarily think there could be a solution. At least that wouldn't be sort of radical.
Well, let's say
I think it's very difficult, at least in my country.
Let's say I'm a Islamic supremacist in Syria. Okay, let's say I come from ISIS or something like that, and I want to take over Belgium.
Right. No, it's already happened.
Fine, whatever. Let's say I want to take over Belgium. And so I get a bunch of guys, I send them over there, and we start doing our thing. What are you going to do?
No. We already saw what happened. We had an organization called Sharia for Belgium, and it was very famous. A lot of Muslims joined it.
Were there any consequences?
They shut down a lot of events. I think one of them got arrested.
Was he arrested for wanting to?
I think it was actually arrested under sort of threats of violence.
Okay, so so he literally had to carry it to violence itself to be stopped.
Yes.
Immediately prior to that, there was no consequences.
So
No, it didn't seem to be. The organization lived on for like 20 years or something. It only stopped like this year. They finally did something about it.
Yeah.
Can you relate this all back to a young man living in England?
Relate this all back? What are we talking about now?
Well, hold on a second, Kenneth. So one thing that
you're talking about relating it back to. So I don't understand what his argument though was. So feminism. Restate your position on all this jazz to me, so I understand what you're talking about.
Wait, about what Muslims?
Yeah, you're on the spot. Suck it.
I think.
Okay, hold on a second.
Okay.
What Lenny was saying before, he was talking about how they're talking about free speech and should there be limitations to it, like probably in the context of not insulting a religion or something along those lines. Right. And a bunch of people raised their hand. He was saying 90%, I think, or 10% raised their hand to say that in favor of free speech over any sort of limitations on it.
Right.
So
9% was.
How would you even change that if you had a law?
You don't have to.
Law change that.
You don't have to. They're not. Okay, so are the Muslims coming? Particularly, are the Muslims coming to Europe because they want your nice free speech laws? Is that what's drawing them in?
Nope.
Okay, so the free speech is a vulnerability, but it's a vulnerability in the context of a welfare state that makes it such that you can show up in a country with no skills, no ability to provide anything to a country, and the country will provide you with free housing, free food, free education, free medical care, and I mean cradle-to-grave support of any kind, making it kind of irrelevant for any need to work, or provide of anything of value or compete. And that means that you can draw in literally anyone in the world, and they will be able to survive in Belgium because the Belgians will pay for them. Now, if you took all of that away and they actually had to compete with other Belgians for jobs and so forth, head to head, No assistance, just straight up compete.
They probably lose because Belgians tend to be more higher educated when it
Well,
comes to
fine,
averages.
fine. So so would they stay in Belgium and starve?
I don't know, but I mean, this is hypothetical. I don't think it would
It is
ever happen.
hypothetical, but I'm making a point here. So the thing is, what's ultimately, at least in my opinion, what is ultimately causing the problem is an expansive welfare state, which levels the playing field between people that have no skills, no ability to contribute to society, and those who do. And when you do that, what you do is you get a lot of people, a population explodes of people that are not helpful to you. And of course, these people could come from highly dysfunctional cultures that have their own host of issues. And understand, this is not a racial comment or anything. I think that they're fine. It's just that they're coming from a culture that's dramatically dysfunctional, and they have nothing to offer your society. And why are they coming in these numbers? Well, it's because they're coming for the welfare, man. That's what it is. I mean, there's no.
I would say it's a major incentive. Yes, I would
Well,
agree.
why else would they come besides the welfare? I mean, they're not staying, say, in Poland, for example. They're not staying in. There are all these other Eastern European countries that say, yeah, you can come here. It's fine, but they don't stay. And the distinction is predominantly it's the welfare. You go to Germany or Belgium or Sweden or whatever, you get this very comprehensive package of stuff. You go to Poland or something, and they're like, yeah, we've got shovels and ditches. Come on.
So, can somebody who's been here for the entire conversation drop out so we can get Craig in here? Oh, wait. Hold on. There might be room. Let me look. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I think there's room. Hold on. Never mind.
All right, so feminism. Tell me things. Tell me things. Sorry, I came in here and fucking bogarted the conversation like a jackass. Come on.
Fine, man.
Are you a little tired?
Tired?
Do you need to take a little feminism nap? Want some feminism coffee?
I took a nap from the feminism for a day. I took a nap from feminist analysis and just calmed down like Lacey Green.
Just stared into her cleavage.
I am the only person left on the planet that would bang Lacey Green.
Anyone who says they wouldn't is lying.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. She got fat now.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, but that fat all went to one particular area.
I mean,
it really didn't. She looks like she found somebody that disagreed with her and fucking ate them. Okay, because when she first started, she was straight up hot.
She is not fat.
Dude, have you really? Have you watched her recent videos? Because I mean, like she's getting to the point where when she sits around the house, she's sitting around the house. Like she's approaching maximum density pretty quickly.
Who are you talking about?
It's your neutron star.
I mean, it's getting to the point where it's problematic.
It is problematic.
Lacey Green, video. I'm gonna check this out.
Yeah, she needs to get to the gym. Stat.
I agree.
So is somebody going to drop out to make room for Craig or no?
Well, I just jumped in, so we'll be free.
Lenny and
I think we should boot
I
out.
would say fuck Craig.
I just asked who you were talking about, remember?
Yeah, we're talking about the
That's your contribution.
That's a contribution, Owl.
Canada, grow a fucking pair. Jesus Christ.
Fine. Anyway, so what's the next discussion?
Stop saying not it. In the chat, blind on one side.
No, but I mean.
So all right, so no, actually returning to some sort of a substantive discussion here. So feminism, what are you saying on the whole immigration Islamic thing, or have you just been sort of sitting here, I don't know, furiously masturbating while people have been making these arguments? What's going on with you?
I pretty much said that there are a lot of people aren't integrating due to radicalization in mosques, and it's a lot of the time it's not the people that it's like the grandsons of immigrants that came here for a better life, and they got a better life, and they're massively grateful for it. But then their sons think that the West is evil, and they do not think of themselves as English. They think of themselves as wherever they came, that they think themselves as Iraqi or Pakistani,
Right.
if that's the right word.
Mhm.
But and they feel more loyal to that country than to England and the people in England.
Well, okay. Remember what happened with the whole identity politics things? Like in your grandfather's day, there were consequences to not integrating, to not, being British, right?
Yeah.
And people said, "Oh, that's bad. People you should be tolerant and whatever." But the consequence of the current model is you have to be different. Being different, it makes you better. Being the same makes you worse.
I think it's a different type. When people say being the same as everybody else isn't a good thing, I'd agree. I don't think everybody should be the exact same, but it's things like just the core values of the country. I think that you should accept them, even if you, because it just society runs better, and I think a lot of people just aren't, and it shouldn't be as normal as it should be.
Well, it's like when people immigrated to the United States not that long ago, it was very common, that they would do their best to immerse themselves in the culture and become as American as possible. And they would do fine. They would do fine. And they could still maintain.
Because they were also making an effort to blend into the society that they.
Well,
had
no, but
to.
there were. Well, yeah, but the reason they were making an effort is because there was a cultural imperative that you do so. Your ability to get a job, your acceptance amongst your peers, all that kind of stuff was damaged if you were not of that culture. So people say, "Oh, that's intolerant," but at the same time, you don't really have a country if people are not sort of circling around some sort of a central cultural star.
Yeah, I agree.
Of course you do.
Except now there is.
You don't have a choice.
Except now there are no strictures of that type because feels.
Well, yeah. So I guess I'm kind of pushing back against the concept of multiculturalism to a certain extent here, and I'm just sort of saying, well, why do you have to be multicultural? I mean, I obviously don't persecute people, but why can't you just have like a dominant culture and just go, that's the dominant culture?
Because that makes you racist, xenophobe, Islamophobe, whatever, everything in the name.
Right.
Because you want to have different kinds of food.
No. Yes, this is an argument is having. Most people want multiculturalism, like, well, it brings nice cuisine. These are people that go on trips and like, well, I like the food here, so I want to import it here, but I even think about the consequences. That's how dumb they are.
Well, yeah, but you can.
But I mean, the people who sort of go there, well, because of the cuisine, I want to do my country.
You can eat sushi in Iceland without having a large Japanese population. I don't buy that.
So, Will, just to kind of turn this around and put it in perspective, okay? There are a few of us in here that are actually from California, right? So we're experiencing something somewhat similar, just not on quite the same scale. I mean,
our immigrants are way better than yours. I will take Mexican immigrants any day over these guys from like Pakistan and stuff.
Well, and here's what I was going to get at is, yeah, a lot of them may well be illegal. However, when they are over here, they, for the most part, do make a very real attempt at being productive and trying to blend into the culture. Now, I'm not going to say that they contribute to the economy in any substantive way, because I personally don't think they do, because for the most part, they usually end up taking whatever earnings they have and sending them back, so that doesn't get rolled back into the American economy. However, as I said, they do make a real effort to try to fit in. And I think that's because they still have the benefit of seeing America as a land of opportunity.
I'm going to push back a little bit on that.
Yeah,
part of the problem, one of the big distinctions, is that in our system there's still whatever the sanctuary cities and all that. I don't know if the Europeans are familiar with that concept, but they are generally regarded as illegal still, and so they can't acquire welfare benefits and stuff.
Right.
If and when they do become legal, which happens, it's something that they're trying to do through this whole Dreamer Act thing. They immediately stop, digging ditches or whatever the hell they were doing before, and they just collect the check.
Right, so they end up going on the dole, and then in that case, that would essentially place us in the same situation as we have typically in, the UK.
Right, but the argument I'm making is
Greece, for that matter.
It's a I think it's a mistake to look at this and say that the issue is even Islam, because Islam hasn't changed. Islam has been this way since always. What's that?
At one point, Islam was more progressive than the other religions. I think. Maybe I'm wrong.
Parts
well,
of
it depends. It was a specific tribe back that were sort of more progressive, I suppose, when it comes to a lot of issues. But they were kind of eradicated by the other tribes. For a while.
Check.
Yeah, but I mean, generally speaking, Islam has been very consistent in the way that they have operated for a very, very long time. What's changed is the West has changed, and you change things, and you need to appreciate that that's going to have unintended consequences, and you have to then deal with those. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I would agree. As far as also, I think in the West, at least in my country or in Europe, it seems that people are more afraid of sort of defending what's stuff in their culture in a sense, and I think that's also what sort of changed in Europe. Because in the early days we didn't give a shit in a sense. But now it seems we want to sort of.
Well, you used to have kings and stuff that if anybody intruded upon their domain, they would they'd fill a mass grave with whomever was messing with them. But I'm not in any way suggesting that we go back to that.
But I am.
Well, I don't know. If we get Craig in here, Craig might.
Yeah.
You want to advocate for that, Craig?
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, there you go.
So what's wrong with what?
Put them to your mass graves. I don't know.
Yeah.
You have essential power that you can't object to.
I just think that we should, gas the kites.
You're the Great Serbia.
Oh God.
Nobody has been asking me questions, so I thought I'd just
No. All right. I'm a loud asshole, so just interject and.
Yeah, I'll have a question. Does the universities in the UK do they have the same thing in America with the weird court system where the university investigates sexual assault cases rather than handing it over to the criminal justice system?
And just for clarity, what Kimoy is referring to is what in America is called Title IX, which is something that was recently passed that gives universities the ability to investigate sexual crimes or claims of harassment and things of the like without having to involve the authorities.
They're literally obligated to do it. In fact, they don't just have the right; they have an obligation to do it.
True.
Yeah.
I think feminism is for nobody is in sixth form, so he isn't actually currently in university. That question would be more appropriate to ask me or Biotic, since we both currently study at a British university.
Okay.
Study.
That doesn't mean that his opinion on the matter can't be asked.
Okay then.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Anyone can answer.
So why don't you let him answer the question that was asked of him?
Anyone can answer. Anyone from the UK or anyone who knows.
I just went into conflict. There we go.
I haven't heard anything like that. Normally they don't want anybody to hear, if that's the case.
Stephen, your campus is more...
Although I have seen a fair few police around.
The feminist society, from your own words, has more power in your...
That's because they're the only ones who actually go to meetings.
Well, isn't the student union its own court in a way?
Sort of.
Yeah.
Well, the student
my
union
university is quite good at it. Like, the feminist society in it is useless. It's worthless. It has no power.
do you think that that's something that should be changed in the university systems where if the students do not participate in the student union, that the student union itself loses authority? Like, the only people that it should represent are the people that are actually paying attention to it?
But the students are dumb anyway.
When it comes to the student union, there are student societies, which can be influenced by the student union.
Well, the
And
thing
it can be a
is,
private society, which means that you pay membership for. It's not directly affiliated with the student union, but it is regulated by it. And then there's public societies, which receive the money from the student union, so on. You don't pay membership for.
Where I'm going with on this is, you know how you have the feminists who will say that they speak for all women, and they obviously don't.
Yeah.
And I think the student union claims to speak for all the students, and they obviously don't.
Well, I mean, they speak for a lot of students who are indoctrinated.
No, but they don't. Look, there are, for every student that's indoctrinated, you've got 3 that are apathetic. And
I don't know about that. I don't know.
Or don't care.
I can't speak to that. I can't speak to that, but I don't. I doubt that.
We're approaching. We're actually we've passed the 2-hour mark, so I think we're going to wrap up the live show. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Any
Sorry for
objections.
Sorry for wrecking it. My bad.
No, you're good.
No,
All right, so I just want to thank our 3 or 4 viewers who we have left, and any future viewers for joining us, and thank you, Feminism is for Nobody, for joining us today. It's a pleasure.
You're more than welcome to join us again if you want to.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah,
There again.
Orgies we'll be having.
Anyway,
We'll
thanks
have
to the
many
viewers
options.
and all future viewers, and everybody take care and good night. And if you want to come on the show in the future, just contact me here via YouTube or on Google Plus, and we'll get you on the show.
EricDHX.
Yes,
Dix.
exactly. Take care, everybody. Good night.
See ya.